This week, I'm going to take a break from US politics and talk about how people should learn from US politics and not do dumb stuff in their politics. So in the European Union, they've had a proposal to basically backdoor encryption to scan personal messages. So the impetus behind this, they say they want to prevent child sexual abuse, right? An admirable goal. So I don't know if this logical fallacy has a particular name, but just because you're pointing to a valid problem doesn't mean that you have a valid solution to the problem. This is the most common example of this, I feel, in our modern politics is think of the children. We need to do this to save the children. And if you're against it, that means you hate children and you want them to suffer, right?
You can apply it to everything. Like think of X, but what if a kid does it? We got to implement pure Christian puritanical beliefs into our schools because otherwise the children might be led astray. So that means we need a theocracy.
My children can't encounter any ideas that are different from mine. So therefore, ideas different than mine should never be expressed. You see stuff like that.
I do think about my children a lot when I think about politics.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's why it works so well. The European Parliament has been pushing this on and off. It gets like there, people propose it, it gets shot down. Now it's back. Denmark has assumed the presidency of the Council of the European Union. I just cannot say that today. God damn.
So say European Union 5 times.
European Union 5 times.
You son of a bitch.
They're so excited about this that this is the first thing they did when they got the presidency. This measure would apply to all citizens, regardless of whether there's any suspicion that they're engaging in any criminal activity, because it's just a blanket applies to everything.
You mean the back door would be installed
everywhere?
Right. That doesn't necessarily mean that it would be monitored.
It would be under this proposal. So service providers would have to scan every single message. And recently it's come back because they want to use AI to scan all the messages.
Right. To look for child porn.
Yeah.
That's like PRISM, right? That's like what we have got in the U.S. Is this happening in the U.S.? It is, right?
No. Well, I mean, not like legally, certainly. The U.S. government can't like legally just like decrypt your messages and read them without a warrant.
Okay.
I mean, they do it, but they're not allowed to, right? They break the law when they do this. And this European Union law would make it like explicitly legal and required for them to read all the messages.
Wait, okay. So then do you think that there's like a European Union equivalent of the NSA that is already doing this?
No. I mean, their individual countries might be like trying to do it.
And I thought whenever a country didn't do it, what they would do instead is just they have an intelligence partnership. And like, if you're my intelligence partner, I read all of your citizens' emails and you read all of mine.
That's what it's called.
Right. And so it doesn't even matter.
Yes, it matters.
Yes,
like you shouldn't just like just because like people are doing something bad, that doesn't mean you should just accept it and allow them to do the worst stuff.
Right. Yes.
It was a rhetorical question.
Yeah. So you got some rhetoric back, motherfucker.
Hell yeah.
God.
So the Parliament commissioned an impact assessment on the proposed regulation, and they heavily critiqued it. According to the study, there aren't currently any technological solutions that can detect this material without resulting in a high error rate, which would affect all messages. They said there's a false positive rate of like 11%. Right?
Dude, when she said that they were implementing AI, I was like, oh, good. Like, not only are we going to be scanning people's messages looking for child pornography, but we're going to be falsely accusing people of sending child pornography. That's like a 1-2 punch of excellence right there.
About 19 EU states are backing the proposal. Germany is basically going to be the like pivot on whether or not this succeeds. So we'll see what happens. They could have the law passed by the middle of October. They'll have client-side scanning, meaning you're on your device that will run this AI algorithm on your message before it's encrypted. Then they'll encrypt it and send it. To relate it to mail, they're not opening the envelope once you've sent it, but they're reading the letter before you send it, but before you put it in the envelope.
Which has the benefit of being pretty easily workaroundable.
Any video gamers listening to this, a client-side anti-cheat is basically useless because it's run on your own device. And ultimately, if you have physical access to the device, you can do anything with it. This is why, like, no matter how hard they try to prevent people from recording movies on their own computer, it's not possible. And anytime like a streaming releases a movie, it's instantly on all the pirate piracy sites.
This is why it has to be child pornography. The focus of it needs to be the worst possible thing. Otherwise, what else could possibly merit not only such a huge breach of privacy, but also something that's not even going to work?
I don't know. I guess the Danish government just wants to make sure they can read everyone's messages for, totally non-nefarious reasons.
So what would be an effective way to fight child pornography?
I mean, if you've got the answer, you should send it to Europol.
I remember recently reading a New York Times article, or a pair of them, written by Nicholas Kristof, talking about whatever it is, the company that owns all these porn sites. People were distributing child porn on these sites, and there wasn't any penalty. Even if you reported it, the site wasn't responsive.
We talked about this in a previous segment, actually.
Right. But I think
the Take It Down Act.
So
linked here.
But again, just because you're pointing to a valid problem doesn't mean your solution is good, right?
Yeah. But the solution there wasn't all bad. Part of the solution was requirement that a site, if their content is flagged by a user as being not, maybe it wasn't child pornography, but like deep fake, like revenge porn or whatever exactly it was, then they have to take it down or they could face a stiff fine, right? It was basically that, wasn't it?
Yeah, but there's no punishment for false reporting at all.
Right, no punishment for false reporting. So if the EU is looking to do this, if you think that the no penalty for false reporting is a huge problem, then write the same law but institute a penalty for false reporting, and then you've solved that huge problem. And so, EU, for your consideration, actually enforce and have penalties for companies and require reporting mechanisms.
Well, but they're taking a completely different approach to it, right? They're not saying if you see something that's suspicious, report it. They're saying we're going to scan everything, and if an AI decides it's suspicious.
Yeah. I get what they're doing, and what I'm saying is that sucks. Try this instead.
I'm with you. I think the American solution would work better, especially in the European context, because they have generally a better relationship with their government and are more civic-minded. And so the intention behind these laws, it would work better.
It's great that you mentioned that, because this is exactly what I want to talk about. This is why it's so dumb, right? Imagine that Europeans are sitting over there smugly aha, but my democracy is great. The government would never abuse this, right? That's so dumb. This is exactly the attitude in the United States that leads to Donald Trump, right? Is this smug complacency that tyranny could never happen here. You can't just allow the government to have these tools when they're good, because then when the government goes bad, they're going to use these tools in a very evil way. This is a dictatorship's wet dream here, right?
Yes.
Look at me. I'm a Hungarian citizen before Viktor Orban was elected. That would never happen here. We're not going to get our own version of Trump.
Exactly. All of the great examples of democracies decaying into tyranny are Europeans, right? You got Julius Caesar, you have Napoleon, and of course, the gold star, Adolf Hitler. This is something that Hitler would have an instant boner, dude. I don't understand how any European can be in favor of this.
You know how else we can fight against child trafficking?
We could put Donald Trump in jail.
I was going to say we could release the Epstein files, but yeah, anyway.
Europol says that this wouldn't work because the people they're trying to catch don't use the popular apps exactly for the reasons that you would expect, because they're more likely to get caught. It's ineffective and tyrannical, and it's just, I can't even continue to think how bad it is.
But did you think of the children?
Yeah, I thought of them. And I thought that, maybe they wouldn't want to live on an invincible dictatorship in the future. EU has a fundamental right to privacy in their charter, which this will violate. It won't effectively solve the problem in any fashion. Basically, no one who knows anything about it says that it will solve the problem. So just because they're pointing to this problem that is a real and serious problem doesn't mean that this solution is good, and don't let it happen.
Don't do it.
Prevent tyranny.
So if you want a future where your free speech is suppressed, that the only way you can express yourself is buying Labubus and Dubai chocolate online, why don't you go ahead and smash that like and subscribe button and click the bell? Or maybe you don't like that. Do the like and subscribe thing anyways. Just try it. Just get a little engagement out there. Do something good for once in your life. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you? Just smash the like and subscribe.
Leave a comment.
We'd love to hear.
Tell me what your favorite Lububu is, and what's inside your email packets before you send them.